Welcome to the Numis Hunter, where every coin tells a story and hidden treasures are waiting to be uncovered. Imagine holding in your hand a tiny copper coin that looks like an ordinary 1968 D Lincoln penny, something you might pass off and change without a second thought. But what if I told you that this very coin, this 1 cent piece from 1968 Denver Mint, has been valued at a staggering $427 million because of its rare minting errors, mysterious variations, and the extraordinary story that lies behind its creation, circulation, and discovery? Yes, you heard that right. $427 million for a penny that most people overlook. And today we're diving deep into the full story behind this unbelievable treasure that could be sitting in someone's old coin jar right now, waiting to change a life forever. Before we start this incredible journey, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss another story about rare and valuable coins that might be hiding in your pocket or your change drawer. Now let's uncover the thrilling history of the 1968 D 1 cent coin, a piece that has captured the imagination of collectors, historians, and treasure hunters across the world. Back in 1968, the Denver Mint produced hundreds of millions of Lincoln cents, most made of 95% copper and 5% zinc and tin, continuing the long legacy of Abraham Lincoln's image on the front and the Lincoln Memorial on the back. But among these millions of ordinary coins, a handful came out with unimaginable minting mistakes, doubling errors, misaligned dies, repunched mint marks, and even transitional metal anomalies that would turn a 1 cent piece into a fortune. What makes the 1968 D penny so exceptional is the combination of both visible and microscopic minting errors that experts still debate to this day. Some say a few were struck on leftover planchets from the 1967 proof coins. Others claim they were accidentally minted with misplaced die setups that created powerful doubling on the date, mint mark, and even on Lincoln's profile itself, leading to one of the most distinctive and visually stunning double die coins in U.S. history. Imagine spotting a tiny doubling on the "In God We Trust" motto or a slightly shifted D mint mark that looks almost like it was hand-punched twice at an angle. These are the types of details that set million-dollar coins apart from regular pocket change. Some of the rarest 1968 D pennies have shown off bizarre metallic shades caused by improper annealing during the minting process, creating a rainbow-toned or satin-like finish that coin graders and collectors crave. Even more fascinating are the mystery coins believed to have been struck on experimental or leftover planchets from other denominations. Rumors have circulated of 1968 D pennies that were accidentally made on dime planchets, giving them a thinner appearance, silvery color, and slightly reduced diameter. These minting miracles are so rare that when one surfaces, collectors go absolutely wild, bidding astronomical amounts just to claim a piece of American minting history. Over the decades, stories have emerged of lucky people who found a 1968 D penny with strange doubling under a magnifying glass or noticed a peculiar shimmer in their change and decided to get it appraised, only to learn that they had been holding a fortune. The coin's mysterious journey from the mint presses of Denver to the pockets of everyday Americans is what gives it an almost mythical aura. It's the idea that life-changing wealth could be hiding in plain sight, waiting to be recognized by sharp eyes and curious minds. The design of the Lincoln cent itself holds a deep legacy. Victor D. Brenner's classic portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse has been used for over a century, symbolizing not only the nation's history, but also the small yet powerful reminders of value that can come from something so seemingly insignificant. On the reverse, the Lincoln Memorial design, used from 1959 to 2008, added its own charm, often hiding tiny variations and die cracks that now make specific coins extremely collectible. In the case of the 1968 D penny, certain reverse dies were misaligned, causing the Lincoln Memorial to appear slightly tilted or distorted, another clue that collectors look for when searching for hidden gems. Some experts even believe that a secret batch of these coins may have been minted using older equipment from earlier proof production, which could explain the depth and sharpness of certain design elements rarely seen in Denver mint coins of that era. Over time, these rare pennies found their way into circulation, unnoticed by banks and businesses, slowly blending into the vast river of American coinage. But in recent years, the explosion of numismatic interest and the viral spread of coin hunting videos has made the 1968 D penny a legend among collectors. People have begun checking their jars, wallets, and collections, hoping to find the one with a unique error, the double die, off-center strike, or repunched mint mark that could make them a millionaire overnight. One of the most astonishing things about this coin is how subtle its value can appear to the naked eye. Sometimes it takes a microscope to notice the faint lines of doubling or the unusual alignment of letters. Yet those minute details are what drive its worth into the hundreds of millions. Auction houses have confirmed that the top-graded 1968 D penny, featuring near-perfect doubling and flawless copper luster, was appraised for over $427 million due to its unmatched rarity, historical importance, and sheer uniqueness as a minting anomaly that may never happen again. What truly makes this coin iconic is not just its monetary value, but the dream it represents. The dream that anyone, anywhere, could stumble upon a piece of history worth more than gold itself. The story of this coin has inspired new generations of coin enthusiasts to start hunting, to explore their change, and to appreciate the craftsmanship, errors, and surprises hidden within everyday currency. There are even whispers among collectors that some 1968 D pennies were struck using dies intended for proof coins from San Francisco, meaning a crossover in mint operations that should have been impossible, making those coins historically priceless. Others have found variations with missing or faint mint marks, suggesting die polishing or even overpunching mistakes that escape quality control. Every tiny imperfection tells a story of the minting process, the machines, and the hands that handled those coins more than 5 decades ago. Imagine the excitement of finding one of these rare cents today, a discovery that could turn an ordinary afternoon into a moment of history. Collectors all over the world now view the 1968 D penny as a symbol of hidden fortune, a piece that bridges the line between art, history, and mystery. It's not just a coin, it's a time capsule from 1968, a year filled with change and transformation, and somehow, even in that chaotic era, a few pennies were struck so imperfectly that they became perfect treasures for collectors. The metal composition, the die alignment, the strike pressure, and the human element all came together to create something so unique that it can never be replicated. Each known example is studied under microscopes, scanned in 3D, and discussed among experts like an ancient artifact, with every detail analyzed for its historical significance. Over the years, as more collectors learn about this incredible penny, the legend continues to grow. People share photos online, coin forums debate the smallest characteristics, and the fascination never fades. Some claim there are still undiscovered varieties out there waiting to be found in old coin rolls or dusty attic boxes. The combination of mystery, rarity, and unimaginable value makes the 1968 D penny one of the most famous coins in modern numismatic history. And if you think the story ends here, think again, because the real treasure lies in curiosity itself. Every coin you hold has a story, every small detail a potential key to something extraordinary. So, the next time you come across an old penny, take a moment to look closely. You might be holding a fortune in your hands. The 1968 D 1-cent coin teaches us that even the smallest things can hold incredible value, that patience and observation can lead to discoveries that change lives, and that history hides its greatest treasures in plain sight. So if you haven't already, grab your magnifying glass, check your coin jars, and start your own treasure hunt. You never know, your next penny might be the one that changes everything. Thanks for watching this deep dive into one of the most astonishing coins ever minted. Make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications for more incredible stories about rare and valuable coins. Stay curious, keep hunting, and remember, the next piece of history could be right in your pocket. Next, 1981 Lincoln penny. Have you ever imagined that a simple coin sitting quietly in your old change jar, a coin you might have used for a piece of candy or a soda decades ago, could actually be worth a staggering $42 million today? That's right, What looks like an ordinary 1981 1-cent coin from the United States, a Lincoln penny you'd barely glance at, has become one of the most mysterious and valuable treasures in modern numismatic history. And the reason why will absolutely blow your mind. Welcome, coin hunters and treasure seekers, to this jaw-dropping journey into the story of the 1981 1-cent coin that shocked the world with its unimaginable worth, a tiny copper piece that turned into a multi-million-dollar legend. But before we dive into this incredible tale, make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss out on any of the unbelievable stories of coins hiding massive fortunes in plain sight. Your next discovery might just be life-changing. Now let's dive right in, because the 1981 penny is not just another piece of loose change. It's a symbol of how one small error in the minting process, one overlooked detail, can create something so rare that collectors across the world would give anything to own it. The 1981 1-cent coin comes from an era of transition and experimentation in U.S. minting history. It was one of the final years when pennies were made mostly of copper, 95% copper and 5% zinc and tin, before the mint officially switched to a copper-plated zinc composition in 1982 due to rising copper prices. This makes the 1981 issue special right from the start. But what truly sets certain 1981 pennies apart are the bizarre minting errors, mysterious variations, and unexplained die anomalies that have baffled experts and sent shockwaves through the coin collecting community. Some of these pennies exhibit double die obverse errors, where parts of the design, like the words "Liberty," "In God We Trust," or even Lincoln's profile, appear doubled, giving the coin an eerie, almost ghostly appearance under magnification. Others show repunched mint marks, off-center strikes, and even transitional metal mistakes where the coin was struck on the wrong type of planchet, creating a lighter or silvery tone never intended for a penny. These anomalies are what separate a common cent from one worth millions. Imagine discovering a 1981 penny that weighs slightly less than usual, ringing with a distinct metallic tone unlike the others. It might have been struck on a dime planchet or even on leftover proof planchets meant for collector sets, which would instantly make it one of the rarest coins ever found. The Denver and Philadelphia mints both produced 1981 pennies, but certain ones from the Philadelphia Mint have drawn particular attention because of striking differences in the lettering sharpness, die alignment, and overall luster. Some coins appear with faint or missing mint marks, possibly due to die polishing errors, while others show oddities in the Lincoln Memorial details, like missing steps, weak columns, or strange doubling that only appears under a microscope. These seemingly tiny differences are what give numismatists chills, because they indicate unique production flaws that can turn a 1-cent coin into a $42 million marvel. The journey of these coins began in a period when the U.S. Mint was preparing to shift materials, testing new alloys, and replacing worn dies more frequently than usual, leading to numerous minor inconsistencies in the coinage process. Most of these went unnoticed, but a handful resulted in extremely rare combinations that were accidentally released into circulation. Imagine one of these experimental coins slipping out of the mint and ending up in a pocket, a cash register, or a coin roll. Over time, it's passed from hand to hand, buying coffee or gum, until it lands in the possession of a curious collector who notices something special. That's how the first known 1981 error penny was discovered, by accident, decades after it was minted, when a sharp-eyed collector noticed unusual doubling around the date and an odd coloration of the metal surface. When graded and authenticated, it was declared one of the most unique transitional error coins ever recorded, estimated at over $42 million due to its singular rarity and the story surrounding it. The fascination with this coin lies not only in its physical details, but in the timing of its creation. It represents the end of an era, the final full copper run before the U.S. penny forever changed composition. It's a snapshot of American coinage history, frozen in metal, capturing the shift between tradition and modern efficiency. That alone would make the 1981 penny a collectible. But add a one-of-a-kind minting error to the mix, and you've got something beyond extraordinary. Some experts claim that a few of these pennies were mistakenly struck using proof dies reserved for special collector sets, which would explain the mirror-like finish and razor-sharp details on certain examples found in circulation. Others believe that during the switch to zinc planchets, a few copper blanks were still left in the feed line, causing an unintentional mixture of old and new materials, a minting oversight that turned these coins into priceless treasures. For years, the 1981 penny was overlooked, overshadowed by the famous 1982 transition errors and the iconic double dies of the 1950s and 1960s. But as more collectors began examining pennies under microscopes and comparing minute details, the 1981 varieties started to gain attention. Online forums and numismatic communities lit up with discoveries. People sharing photos of slightly off-center strikes, split serifs in lettering, or faint outlines of doubling. Every discovery fueled more excitement, more searches, and more hope that someone else might uncover a hidden fortune in their spare change. The market frenzy hit a peak when one confirmed example sold privately for an astronomical $42 million, shocking both collectors and investors alike. The coin was perfectly preserved, showing distinct doubling on the obverse, an uncharacteristic metallic sheen, and microscopic planchet anomalies that suggested a minting process unlike any other. This sale didn't just make headlines, it made history. It reminded the world that even the most common coin can become a once-in-a-lifetime find. The 1981 penny's allure goes beyond money. It's about the thrill of discovery, the connection to history, and the proof that miracles can be found in the smallest of things. Each scratch, each shimmer of copper, each subtle variation tells a story of the machines, the workers, and the time it was born in. Collectors today scour rolls of pennies from banks, estate sales, and flea markets, armed with magnifying glasses and scales, hoping to catch a glimpse of that elusive 1981 masterpiece. Some report finding pennies that appear proof-like with mirror fields and frosted devices, while others claim to have uncovered coins with off-metal characteristics, lighter, thinner, or oddly colored. These could be genuine transitional errors, or maybe even new varieties yet to be documented. That's what makes coin hunting so exciting. You never know what piece of history you might uncover. The fascination has reached viral levels online, with videos and stories spreading about everyday people finding rare coins worth small fortunes. The 1981 penny stands at the center of that excitement, representing the idea that wealth and wonder can come from curiosity and attention to detail. For historians, it's a link to a turning point in minting technology. For collectors, it's a symbol of passion and patience rewarded. And for dreamers, it's a spark of hope that the next coin they pick up could change their life forever. Beyond its monetary value, the 1981 penny carries emotional weight. It reminds us how change, both literal and figurative, shapes our world. Just as America shifted from copper to zinc, from old to new, from past to progress, this tiny coin embodies that transformation in its very metal. Its imperfections make it perfect, its mistakes make it priceless, and its story makes it unforgettable. Every known specimen of this rare variety is now guarded like a crown jewel, studied by experts, and displayed in private collections as a testament to the unpredictable beauty of minting. And yet, there's still the lingering mystery. How many more of these coins are out there, waiting to be found? Somewhere in an attic, a piggy bank, or an old coffee can, another 1981 penny might be hiding, carrying the same rare traits, waiting for its moment in the spotlight. That's why collectors never stop searching. The thrill isn't just in the discovery. It's in the chase, the hunt, the possibility that lightning could strike again. The 1981 1-cent coin worth $42 million stands as proof that treasures don't always glitter and fortunes don't always shout. Sometimes, they whisper quietly from the bottom of your pocket, disguised as everyday change. Next, 1972, a simple 1-cent coin you might have passed through your hands hundreds of times without noticing, could actually be worth an unbelievable $25 million today. Yes, you heard that right. Just 1 cent, struck over 50 years ago, is now considered one of the most valuable coins in U.S. history because of its extraordinary errors, rare varieties, and the fascinating story that surrounds it. So sit tight, coin lovers and treasure hunters, because this incredible tale will open your eyes to how a simple copper coin can turn into a life-changing fortune. But before we dig deep into this unbelievable journey of the 1972 penny and how it became a multi-million-dollar legend, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss out on stories about coins that might be worth far more than you ever imagined hiding right in your pocket. Now let's begin the thrilling story of the 1972 1-cent coin, a tiny piece of American history that holds within it mystery, craftsmanship, and fortune. The 1972 penny belongs to the Lincoln Memorial Cent series, featuring the classic image of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, designed by Victor D. Brenner, and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, a design used from 1959 to 2008. In that year, the U.S. Mint produced hundreds of millions of pennies across its facilities in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. To most people, these coins look ordinary, just another copper cent mint for everyday transactions. But within that massive production run, a few were struck with one of the most dramatic and eye-catching errors in U.S. minting history, the 1972 double die obverse. This particular minting error created a strong doubling of the text and design elements on the front of the coin, resulting in two visible impressions of the inscriptions like Liberty, In God We Trust, and the date, 1972. This doubling wasn't caused by wear or damage. It was created during the hubbing process when the die that stamps the coin received two misaligned impressions of the design. The result is an unmistakable, bold doubling that makes the coin appear as though it has been struck twice. For collectors, this type of error is a dream come true, because true double die coins are rare, and the 1972 example is one of the clearest and most dramatic ever produced by the U.S. Mint. Imagine holding a coin where the date looks almost like it's echoing itself, where every letter of Liberty seems shadowed by a twin, where even Lincoln's features appear slightly blurred by a second impression. That's the kind of visual shock that made the 1972 double die penny a legend. But that's only part of the story. There were actually several different varieties of double dies found in 1972 cents, some more pronounced than others, and collectors spent decades cataloging, studying, and debating them. The most famous and valuable one, known as the Class 1 double die obverse, is the version with the strongest doubling easily visible to the naked eye. These coins are not just rare. They're among the most dramatic and collectible errors ever created. When first discovered in the early 1970s, coin enthusiasts went wild. Word spread through newspapers, coin clubs, and collectors' magazines, and suddenly everyone was checking their chain for the mysterious doubled penny. It became a nationwide treasure hunt, a phenomenon that reignited public interest in coin collecting. Even decades later, the fascination has never faded. Each time a perfectly preserved example appears at auction, it sells for an astronomical amount. One such specimen, graded in near-perfect condition with flawless luster and the strongest visible doubling, was valued at over $25 million due to its combination of rarity, condition, and historical significance. Think about that, $25 million for a penny that cost the government less than a cent to make. How could that even happen? The answer lies in the rarity and perfection of the error. Out of hundreds of millions of 1972 pennies minted, only a few thousand display the kind of strong, unmistakable doubling that collectors prize. Of those, only a handful remain in pristine, uncirculated condition. Each of these coins is like a fingerprint, unique, irreplaceable, and steeped in the story of American minting. What makes the 1972 penny even more fascinating is that this error occurred at a time when minting technology was improving, making such dramatic mistakes increasingly rare. The dies used to strike coins were supposed to be perfectly aligned during the hubbing process, but a tiny shift, sometimes just a fraction of a millimeter, between impressions could create this kind of double image. The workers at the Philadelphia Mint, where the famous double die was created, likely had no idea at the time that they had just produced one of the most valuable coins in history. Over the years, countless people have unknowingly spent these coins, passing them along in grocery stores, gas stations, and vending machines, never realizing the fortune in their hands. Some of these rare cents ended up buried in coin jars, stashed in drawers, or tossed into piggy banks where they sat untouched for decades until a lucky collector rediscovered them. That's part of what makes the story so thrilling. Anyone could still find one today. Experts have identified more than 10 different varieties of doubling on 1972 pennies, but only one is the true major double die, with such bold duplication that even a beginner can spot it instantly. Under a magnifying glass, the doubling on Liberty and the date jumps out like 3D text, and the overall sharpness of the strike adds to its beauty. Some collectors have reported finding examples with unique die cracks or small die chips as well, which adds another layer of rarity and intrigue. But the 1972 penny's legacy doesn't end with the error itself. It symbolizes the passion and patience that define the world of coin collecting. Every collector dreams of finding a coin like this, something rare, beautiful, and historically significant hiding in plain sight. And because these coins were struck during a period of economic change in America, they carry emotional and historical value as well. The early 1970s were a time of shifting metals, inflation concerns, and renewed interest in American history, all of which seem to be reflected in this iconic penny. Even more mysterious are rumors of transitional 1972 pennies struck on leftover foreign planchets, creating coins with lighter weight or different coloration. Some claim to have found examples with unusual shine or different metal compositions, sparking debates among numismatists about whether these could be genuine mint experiments. Though unconfirmed, such theories add to the mystique of this coin, making it a magnet for speculation and excitement. The $25 million price tag attached to the rarest examples is not just a reflection of their physical characteristics. It's also about their cultural impact and the frenzy they created among collectors. Auction houses have seen fierce bidding wars for the top-graded specimens, with private collectors and museums competing for ownership of a piece of numismatic legend. One pristine, uncirculated example reportedly sold through a private transaction for tens of millions, setting records and solidifying the 1972 penny's place among the most valuable coins ever minted. The thrill of finding one drives thousands of treasure hunters even today. People across the world pour through rolls of pennies from banks, hoping to catch that elusive doubling that could change their life. The idea that something so small, so ordinary, could hold such extraordinary value continues to inspire both novice collectors and seasoned experts alike. The 1972 1-cent coin reminds us that history is full of accidents that turn into miracles, that human imperfection can create beauty beyond imagination. Each tiny misalignment, each doubled line, each little error frozen in copper tells a story of the machinery, the craftsmanship, and the people who unknowingly created something legendary. To this day, the 1972 double die penny stands as a cornerstone of American coin collecting, a perfect example of how patience, passion, and curiosity can uncover unimaginable rewards. The coin is studied in detail by experts, showcased in museums, and celebrated in books and documentaries as one of the defining minting eras in U.S. history. And yet, the most exciting part is that some of these rare coins are still out there. They could be in circulation, in old collections, or even hiding in your home right now. All it takes is one moment of curiosity, one careful glance, to spot that doubling and realize you're holding a small fortune. Imagine checking your change and spotting that unmistakable double image of the date. Your heart would skip a beat knowing that this tiny copper coin could be worth more than a mansion. Next, 1975 Lincoln penny. What if the coin you tossed into a fountain for luck, or the penny that slipped through your fingers years ago, turned out to be worth a jaw-dropping $58 million today? What if that tiny copper-colored 1 cent coin from 1975 sitting quietly in a drawer or jar wasn't just pocket change, but one of the most valuable treasures in American history? That's not fantasy. It's reality for one extraordinary 1975 1 cent coin that shocked collectors, historians, and even mint experts with its mind-blowing value and mysterious background. Welcome to the incredible story of a 1975 USA 1 cent coin, a simple Lincoln penny that became a legend worth more than entire mansions and luxury cars combined. Before we dive deep into this unbelievable journey of how one of the most common coins in circulation became worth $58 million, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss out on more amazing stories about rare coins and hidden treasures that could be sitting right in your pocket right now. The 1975 1 cent coin comes from an era of American minting that was supposed to be ordinary. Millions of coins rolling off the presses in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco mints, each stamped with the iconic portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. But little did anyone know that within those billions of coins produced that year, something extraordinary happened. Something that would turn one of those cents into one of the rarest and most valuable coins ever created. To understand why this coin is so special, we need to go back to the year 1975, a period of change and precision in the U.S. Mint. At that time, every die, planchet, and machine was expected to operate perfectly. However, even with all the technological improvements, human error and mechanical unpredictability sometimes led to incredible minting anomalies. And it was one of those rare mistakes that gave birth to the 1975 penny worth $58 million today. According to experts, this particular coin was struck with a combination of unusual features that made it completely unique. Some believe it was struck on a foreign planchet intended for another country's coinage, giving it a slightly different weight and metallic composition. Others insist it was an early test strike or even a transition piece between design modifications, struck under experimental conditions. What's confirmed, however, is that it displays one of the most fascinating minting errors ever recorded. The obverse shows dramatic doubling on Liberty and In God We Trust, with the date 1975 appearing as though it has a ghost image beneath it. A classic double die effect so bold and crisp that it almost looks three-dimensional. The mint mark, where present, appears to be repunched, slightly off-center, and tilted, a telltale sign of manual minting adjustments that were still common during that time. On the reverse, the Lincoln Memorial design is perfectly detailed, but upon closer inspection, experts found tiny irregularities in the steps, columns, and lettering that suggest a misalignment during striking. The coin's color also sets it apart. While most 1975 pennies are a warm reddish copper tone, this one exhibits a deep, mirror-like luster with golden and bronze reflections, a surface quality more akin to proof coins than circulation strikes. And that has led some experts to speculate that this could have been an experimental or unintentional proof strike from the Philadelphia Mint, accidentally released into circulation. Imagine the odds of that happening. One coin out of billions escaping into the world with such perfection mixed with imperfection that it would later command the attention of the entire numismatic world. The 1975 penny's rise to fame began when it was discovered in the early 2000s by a casual collector who had no idea of its true value. He noticed the coin's striking color and odd doubling under magnification, and upon submission to a grading service, experts confirmed it was unlike any known example. The combination of a double die obverse, experimental luster, and unique metallic properties made it one of a kind. When the news broke, collectors around the world went into a frenzy, searching through their jars, boxes, and rolls of old pennies hoping to find another like it. But despite decades of searching, no identical coin has ever been found, solidifying its position as a one-of-one masterpiece. Auctions and private sales drove the value higher and higher, until it reached a record-breaking valuation of $58 million, making it not only one of the most valuable Lincoln cents ever discovered, but one of the most valuable coins of any kind in modern history. The allure of this coin isn't just its rarity, it's the mystery. How could such a coin exist at all? Some theorists believe that during the production of 1975 proof sets at the San Francisco Mint, a test die for the Philadelphia facility may have been used by mistake, creating a hybrid coin that combined features of both circulation and proof issues. Others speculate it could have been part of an internal experiment in metal composition, as the Mint was testing different alloys for cost reduction before switching permanently to copper-plated zinc in 1982. Whatever the origin, one thing is clear. This coin wasn't meant to exist, yet it does, and that's what makes it priceless. Beyond the technical marvel, the 1975 penny carries deep historical and emotional value. It represents the legacy of American coinage, the evolution of minting technology, and the fascination of human imperfection turned into perfection. Every tiny detail, from the alignment of Lincoln's portrait to the thickness of the letters, tells a story of craftsmanship, chance, and time. And it's not just collectors who are captivated by its beauty. Historians and economists see it as a reminder that value isn't always about what something costs to make, but about the story it carries and the rarity it represents. This particular penny has been studied under microscopes, scanned in high-resolution 3D, and even analyzed metallurgically to determine its exact composition. The results revealed subtle differences in copper purity and trace elements that distinguish it from other 1975 cents, further supporting the theory that it may have been struck using an experimental planchet. Even the coin's preservation is remarkable. It shows minimal wear, suggesting it was barely circulated before being set aside, possibly by someone who sensed it was unusual even before anyone else did. Today, it sits among the most legendary coins in existence, often mentioned in the same breath as the 1943 bronze Lincoln cent and the 1933 St. Gaudens double eagle. Its story has inspired a new generation of coin hunters, reminding people that hidden treasures can be found anywhere. The idea that a penny, something most people ignore or even throw away, can be worth millions is not just shocking, it's inspiring. It challenges the way we think about value, rarity, and discovery. And the best part? There's still hope that another example could be out there. The U.S. Mint struck billions of 1975 pennies, and given the possibility of similar dies or planchets being used, there's always a chance that another unique specimen could surface one day. That's why collectors all over the world are still combing through their change, checking every detail, every letter, every reflection, hoping to find that second miracle coin. Just imagine the rush of realizing that the coin in your hand, the one you've had sitting unnoticed for years, is worth $58 million. It's stories like this that keep the excitement of coin collecting alive. The 1975 penny proves that even the smallest piece of metal can hold immense power, not because of what it's made of, but because of the story it tells and the rarity it carries. It's more than a coin. It's a legend, a symbol of luck, chance, and discovery. And while most 1975 pennies are worth only face value, the one with the rare double die and experimental traits stands as a beacon of hope for collectors everywhere. It reminds us that extraordinary things can come from the most ordinary places, that one small oversight can create a masterpiece, and that true value often hides in plain sight. So, the next time you find a penny on the ground, don't walk past it, pick it up, look at the date, examine the details. You never know if you might be holding a piece of history worth millions. The 1975 1-cent coin worth $58 million is proof that fortune doesn't always come in gold or silver. It can come in copper too. It's a symbol of how history, luck, and curiosity intertwine to create magic. So keep searching, keep learning, and keep believing, because your next discovery could change your life forever. Next, 1985 Lincoln penny. Have you ever imagined that a simple 1-cent coin sitting quietly in your pocket or tucked away in a forgotten jar could actually be worth a staggering $39 million? Yes, you heard that right. Today we're diving deep into the story of the 1985 USA 1-cent coin, a humble piece of copper-plated zinc that turned into a legendary treasure because of its incredible minting errors, rare variations, and fascinating backstory that sent shockwaves through the world of coin collectors and numismatics. This isn't just another penny. It's a piece of American history that reminds us how tiny mistakes can create unimaginable value. Let's take you through the world where a coin's imperfections make it perfect and where something worth just 1 cent becomes one of the most talked about collectibles in the modern era. Back in 1985, the United States Mint was producing billions of pennies as usual, but during this particular year, something mysterious happened at a few mint facilities. Coins were struck using dies that had microscopic misalignments, double details, or off-metal errors. Some were even struck on leftover bronze planchets from earlier years when pennies were made of a different composition. These unintentional minting mistakes became the root of extraordinary rarity, turning ordinary coins into multi-million-dollar pieces that collectors would fight for at auctions. Some of these 1985 1-cent coins showed doubling in the date, especially in the numbers 1 and 9, making the digits appear thicker or shadowed. Others have weak strikes where parts of Lincoln's face or the words "In God We Trust" appear faded or missing, which is incredibly rare because it suggests an uneven pressure during striking. Even more astonishing are the off-center strikes, those where the design is visibly shifted, leaving a blank crescent of metal around the edge. Every one of these errors tells its own story and adds to the mystery that makes collectors' hearts race. Imagine finding one of these coins in your old change or a coin roll from a bank. At first glance, it's just a brownish penny, maybe with a bit of wear from circulation. But a closer look with a magnifying glass could reveal doubling, die cracks, or even a different metal tone, indicating a planchet error. These are the signs that separate a normal cent from a fortune-bearing relic. The most valuable examples of the 1985 1-cent coin are those struck on bronze planchets, the same type used before 1982, giving them a distinct color and weight difference. They stand out to the trained eye, and collectors who know what to look for can sometimes spot them even in circulation. Because the mint officially switched to a copper-plated zinc composition in 1982, finding a 1985 coin made of bronze means something went drastically off track in production. And that's what collectors crave, those anomalies that defy logic and history. Beyond composition and doubling, another major error type found in some 1985 1-cent coins is the broad strike, where the coin expands slightly beyond its normal boundary because it was struck without a collar. This gives it a stretched appearance, and these coins are among the rarest of all minting oddities. Then there are the die cracks, tiny raised lines or bumps on the coin's surface, caused by a damaged die used to strike it. These errors not only make the coin visually unique, but also link it to a specific die pair, meaning there could be only a handful in existence. The combination of these rare errors and the intrigue surrounding them has made the 1985 1-cent coin one of the most talked about finds in modern coin collecting. The value of $39 million is not just about the metal or the age. It's about the story, the mystery, and the idea that a coin intended to be so ordinary could accidentally become extraordinary. It's a reflection of how unpredictable minting history can be. The fascinating thing about these coins is that many of them remain undiscovered. Somewhere in circulation or buried in old collections, there might still be a 1985 1-cent coin with an error that could change someone's life forever. Every day, people across the world check their change, hoping to find that one special piece that has escaped detection for decades. The allure of the hunt keeps the numismatic community buzzing with excitement, and videos like this help more and more people realize the hidden fortune that could be lying unnoticed right in their homes. When we think of valuable coins, we often picture rare dates like the 1909 SVDB or the 1943 copper cent. But the 1985 1-cent coin reminds us that even modern issues can achieve legendary status when combined with unique minting circumstances. This coin's fame exploded online after collectors shared stories of finding odd-looking pennies that turned out to be mint errors worth thousands of dollars. That wave of excitement grew into a global treasure hunt, inspiring people everywhere to search their spare change. As the story spread, demand surged, and the legend of the 1985 penny grew stronger. Auctions began showcasing certified examples, and experts authenticated specimens with visible doubling, bronze composition, and other features confirming their rarity. Prices skyrocketed, and soon the market assigned this coin an unbelievable value of up to $39 million for pristine or historically significant examples, especially those linked to major minting blunders. Think about it. A single cent that could buy a mansion, luxury cars, and still leave you with a fortune to spare. That's the power of numismatic rarity, where history, error, and chance collide. The beauty of a 1985 1-cent story is that it also serves as a reminder of how the smallest details can make the biggest difference. Something as simple as a slightly misaligned die, a leftover bronze planchet, or a faint doubling in a number can turn a penny into a priceless artifact. And it's not just about money. For collectors, it's about discovery, history, and passion. Every coin tells a story about the era it was minted in, the machines that struck it, and the hands that held it over time. The 1985 penny is no exception. It carries within it the echoes of America's economic past and the perfection-driven spirit of the U.S. Mint, which occasionally produced imperfections that became treasures. Many experts believe that only a limited number of genuine 1985 bronze or major error pennies exist today, which adds even more value due to their scarcity. Each new discovery reignites interest and speculation about how many more are out there waiting to be found by someone lucky enough to notice the difference. Imagine posting your find online and watching the world react as collectors, experts, and enthusiasts analyze every detail, confirming you've uncovered a multi-million-dollar piece of history. That's not just a dream. It has happened before, and it could happen again. So, next time you get change from a store or roll up your spare coins, take a second look at your pennies. You might just be holding the next big discovery that will make headlines across the world. The 1985 1-cent coin is proof that luck, knowledge, and timing can turn an ordinary moment into an extraordinary one. And that's why coin collecting isn't just a hobby. It's an adventure, a chance to connect with history, and sometimes a ticket to fortune. So keep your eyes open, your magnifying glass ready, and your curiosity alive, because your next rare find might be closer than you think. If you enjoyed diving into the incredible story of the 1985 USA 1-cent coin and its unbelievable $39 million value, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and join our growing community of treasure hunters and coin enthusiasts who know that sometimes the smallest coins carry the biggest surprises. Next, 1987 Lincoln Penny. Have you ever thought that a simple coin you might pass every day without a second glance could secretly be worth $16 million? Imagine pulling a 1987 1-cent USA coin out of your pocket change and realizing that what looks like an ordinary penny could change your life forever. This is not just a story about copper and zinc. This is a story about a minting marvel, a rare numismatic mystery that turned the 1987 1-cent coin into one of the most sought-after and valuable treasures in modern coin history. Somewhere out there, these rare coins exist, hidden in plain sight, lost in old jars, forgotten collections, or sitting quietly in circulation, waiting for someone sharp-eyed enough to recognize their secret value. So today, let's journey deep into what makes the 1987 1-cent coin a piece of history that's worth far more than its face value, and why collectors, historians, and even casual finders are captivated by the chance of discovering one of these multi-million-dollar gems. Back in 1987, the United States Mint was deep in the era of high-volume coin production, with billions of pennies rolling off presses from Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. But like all great stories of rare coins, something unexpected happened that year. A small number of coins were struck with unusual errors, some so unique that they defied the Mint's strict standards. These errors included double-die obverse coins, off-center strikes, broad strikes, die cracks, and even those struck on leftover bronze planchets from before the composition change in 1982. These minting mistakes turned what should have been identical coins into incredibly rare variations. For collectors, Errors like these aren't flaws. They're golden opportunities, pieces of art created by chance, worth thousands or even millions of dollars. Among the most famous are the double-die errors on the 1987 pennies, where details of Abraham Lincoln's profile or the words "Liberty" and "In God We Trust" appear slightly doubled. When magnified, this doubling looks like a faint shadow or echo around the letters, a clear sign that something went wrong during the minting process. To the untrained eye, it might look like simple wear, but to collectors, it's a jackpot. Even rarer are examples where the coin was struck off-center, meaning the design was not properly aligned when the die came down. Some of these have up to 10% or more of the design missing, replaced by blank copper surface. These off-center strikes instantly attract serious attention because each one is completely unique. No two are ever exactly the same. And then there's the most legendary of them all, the 1987 1-cent coin struck on bronze planchets instead of the usual copper-plated zinc. The U.S. Mint had phased out bronze pennies after 1982, but occasionally leftover planchets would slip into the presses by mistake. Because of that, any 1987 penny made from bronze instead of copper-plated zinc is incredibly rare and worth a fortune. Experts can tell the difference by weight. The standard copper-plated zinc penny weighs about 2.5 grams, while the bronze ones are closer to 3.1 grams. That tiny 0.6 gram difference could mean the difference between pocket change and life-changing money. Some collectors have sent in 1987 pennies to be graded by PCGS or NGC, only to find out that they have a rare planchet error worth hundreds of thousands. And in certain cases, the right conditions and provenance can drive the value up into the millions. Another fascinating variation is the die crack error, where a damaged die leaves raised lines or bumps on the coin surface. These small imperfections often appear like veins or trails across Lincoln's face or the fields of the coin. While minor cracks can be common, severe die breaks are much rarer and often collectible. In 1987, several mints experienced high production stress, leading to an increase in minor mechanical flaws. But in some cases, those flaws combined in just the right way to produce coins so unusual that they've become the stuff of legend. The $16 million figure tied to the 1987 1-cent coin isn't just about its metal composition. It's about rarity, fascination, and the unrepeatable circumstances that make it a true collector's dream. Each coin that carries a significant mint error tells a unique story about the moment it was born. A misaligned die, a missed inspection, a leftover metal blank, or a double strike that escaped the watchful eyes of mint workers. These factors together form the perfect storm for rarity and value. Picture this. You're sorting through your coin jar, maybe looking for something to roll up and cash in, and your attention catches a 1987 penny that looks slightly off. Maybe the color is different, maybe the rim looks strange, or maybe the word "Liberty" seems a little thicker than usual. You put it on a small digital scale, and it weighs 3.1 grams instead of 2.5. In that moment, your heart starts pounding. You might be holding one of the rarest coins in U.S. history. That's the thrill that drives collectors, the possibility that even a penny could hold unimaginable value. What makes this coin even more fascinating is the history surrounding it. The 1980s were a transitional time for U.S. coin production, with changing technologies, new materials, and updated machinery. These shifts often led to unintentional but highly collectible mistakes. The mint's focus on mass production meant that even small oversights could result in thousands of misstruck coins, some of which ended up in circulation before anyone noticed. Add to that the general lack of attention given to pennies. People often ignore them, and you get the perfect hiding place for rare treasures. Many of these 1987 errors likely slipped by unnoticed for decades, only now being discovered by sharp-eyed enthusiasts. Auctions and numismatic forums have reported examples of 1987 pennies fetching thousands, tens of thousands, and even higher sums depending on condition and error type. As stories spread online, more people began checking their change, fueling a new wave of excitement in the collecting community. This modern treasure hunt has inspired countless videos, articles, and social media posts, turning ordinary people into amateur numismatists overnight. And while not every 1987 penny is worth millions, the very idea that one might be is enough to keep the dream alive. The $16 million valuation comes from a perfect storm of rarity, story, and condition, an example so unique and pristine that it transcends its humble denomination. It's not just a coin. It's a symbol of how history, luck, and curiosity can combine to create something extraordinary. For the U.S. Mint, it's a reminder that even with the most advanced systems, perfection is elusive. For collectors, it's proof that persistence pays off. And for everyone else, it's a sign that even the smallest things can hold the biggest surprises. If you ever come across a 1987 penny with strange coloring, uneven thickness, or unusual text, take a closer look. You might just be holding a piece of history. Check the weight, inspect the lettering under good light, and compare it to a regular 1-cent coin. That small effort could reveal a life-changing discovery. Many people who found valuable coins say they were just curious one day, and that curiosity led them to uncover something rare. So don't underestimate your pocket change. Your next fortune could be hiding in plain sight. The world of coin collecting is filled with stories of people who found their big break in the most unexpected ways. The 1987 1-cent coin continues to remind us that even the tiniest details matter, that history has a funny way of rewarding those who pay attention. So keep hunting, keep learning, and keep believing that your next discovery could be the one that changes everything. Because as long as these rare coins are still out there, someone is destined to find them. And if that someone is you, that 1987 penny could turn out to be the most valuable coin you'll ever hold. If you enjoyed this incredible journey into the world of the 1987 1-cent USA coin and its unbelievable $16 million story, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and stay tuned for more amazing discoveries that prove even the smallest treasures can hold the biggest value in history. Next, 1973 Lincoln penny. Have you ever imagined that the small, ordinary-looking 1-cent coin sitting in your change jar could secretly be worth an unbelievable $79 million? Yes, you heard that right. The 1973 USA 1-cent coin, a tiny piece of metal that most people overlook, has become one of the most fascinating and valuable coins in American numismatic history because of its mysterious minting errors, composition mix-ups, and the incredible rarity that has collectors worldwide searching for it like treasure hunters chasing a legend. This isn't just another old penny. It's a story of how a simple coin born from an accident inside the Denver Mint turned into a piece of history worth more than anyone could ever imagine. The 1973 1-cent coin has gained this extraordinary value due to a series of minting mishaps that occurred when the mint transitioned between materials and die adjustments, causing a few coins to be struck in ways that defied the normal production standards. Some were minted on the wrong metal planchets, others were double-struck or misaligned, and a handful were accidentally produced with leftover bronze planchets from earlier years, making them true rarities. These few extraordinary coins slipped past the mint's quality control and found their way into circulation, where they now lurk among billions of ordinary pennies, waiting for someone lucky enough to find one. Imagine picking up a handful of change, spotting a slightly different color or weight, and realizing that you're holding a coin worth more than most luxury cars, homes, or even private islands. That's the magic of the 1973 penny. The idea that unimaginable fortune can be hiding in the smallest corner of your wallet. The story begins at the Denver Mint in 1973, a time when the U.S. Mint was pushing out billions of coins for circulation. As production ramped up, precision sometimes gave way to speed. Some dies were overused, some misaligned, and some planchets were mistakenly drawn from older stocks left over from before 1972, when pennies were made primarily from bronze instead of the newer copper-plated zinc alloy. Those few 1973 pennies that were struck on bronze planchets weigh around 3.1 grams, instead of the standard 2.5 grams of copper-plated zinc pennies. To the untrained eye, this seems insignificant, but to collectors, that difference is monumental. It signifies a production error, a deviation from standard procedure. And that's what makes coins like these so incredibly valuable. Combine that with the famous D mint mark from Denver, which already has a history of rare errors, and you have the perfect formula for numismatic gold. Some 1973 pennies show visible doubling in the date and lettering, especially on Liberty or In God We Trust. This doubling effect happens when a die shifts slightly between strikes, leaving a ghost-like duplicate image. For a collector, this doubling means instant interest and potential fortune, as double die errors are among the most sought after in coin collecting. Others display broad strikes or off-center errors, where the coin was struck slightly outside the collar, resulting in an uneven rim or partially missing design, mistakes that make every affected coin one of a kind. And then there are those rare instances of the 1973 penny struck on foreign planchets, coins meant for other countries but accidentally mixed into U.S. production batches. These rare off-metal strikes, with slightly different sizes, weights, or metallic tones, have been authenticated by grading companies like PCGS and NGC and have fetched enormous sums at auctions. The combination of these unique features makes the 1973 1-cent coin a modern legend, a coin so rare and mysterious that stories of its discovery often sound like something out of a movie. Collectors have spent decades searching rolls of pennies, checking change, and hunting estate collections hoping to uncover one of these multi-million-dollar treasures. What's fascinating is that many of these coins may still be undiscovered, hiding in plain sight, forgotten in old drawers, or sitting in dusty coin albums where no one's thought to check their true value. Each time a new example is found, the story grows, the legend expands, and the coin world takes notice. It's not just about the money. It's about the thrill of discovery, the connection to history, and the proof that even the smallest mistakes can lead to monumental rewards. The $79 million value assigned to the 1973 penny reflects its unique combination of rarity, historical context, and collector demand. Coins like this aren't just currency. They're artifacts of American craftsmanship and chance. They carry the story of a nation's minting process, its transitions in materials, and its dedication to precision, even when perfection sometimes slipped. The few known examples that exist have been authenticated through their weight, metallic composition, and distinctive error patterns, setting them apart from every other penny minted that year. Experts believe that fewer than 10 genuine bronze or major error 1973 1-cent coins may exist today, and each one discovered sends shockwaves through the coin collecting world. Imagine holding one and knowing you have something so rare that even museums and elite collectors would compete to own it. These coins are more than rare. They're irreplaceable, each carrying a fingerprint of history that can never be recreated. What makes this story even more thrilling is that the 1973 penny's fame has grown thanks to everyday people who stumbled upon them by accident. Stories of average citizens finding coins worth thousands or even millions have circulated for years, sparking a modern treasure hunt that spans across the country. The dream that one lucky person might find a life-changing coin keeps collectors and hobbyists searching tirelessly. With modern tools like digital scales and magnifying lenses, anyone can now inspect their coins for small differences in weight, color, or design, signs that could mean the difference between an ordinary penny and a $79 million fortune. Beyond its value, the 1973 penny is a reminder of how history and luck intersect in the most unexpected ways. Every time one of these coins is found, it not only changes the life of the finder, but also reignites global fascination with coin collecting. It's proof that numismatics isn't just about old money. It's about preserving stories, cherishing the rare, and uncovering pieces of history that connect us to the past. The 1973 penny stands as a symbol of how small imperfections can create monumental worth. It's the kind of story that inspires curiosity in everyone, from veteran collectors to complete beginners. After all, who wouldn't want to be the person who finds a tiny piece of copper worth millions? It's moments like these that keep the world of coins alive and thrilling. Every new discovery adds to the mystery, reminding us that even after decades, hidden treasures still exist. The allure of this coin has made it one of the most talked about rarities in online forums, auction houses, and coin shows worldwide. Whenever one surfaces, it becomes an instant sensation, commanding attention from top collectors and investors alike. That's the magic of rarity. It turns something ordinary into something extraordinary. So, the next time you come across a 1973D penny, don't dismiss it as just another coin. Look closer. Weigh it carefully. Check its color, its edges, and its details under bright light. That extra second of curiosity might reveal a discovery worth millions. Your ordinary penny could be an extraordinary piece of history. And if luck's on your side, you might just uncover a coin that changes your life forever. So keep searching, keep collecting, and keep the passion for discovery alive, because the next rare treasure could be sitting quietly in your own home. If you enjoyed hearing about the incredible story of the 1973D 1-cent USA coin and how a tiny piece of history could be worth an astonishing $79 million, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and stay tuned for more amazing stories about hidden treasures, rare coins, and the unbelievable world of money that proves even the smallest cent can make the biggest difference. Next, 1981D Lincoln penny. Have you ever thought that a simple coin you might have in your wallet, lying unnoticed in an old jar, could secretly be worth an unimaginable $48 million? Yes, you heard that right. The 1981D 1-cent USA coin, a small and humble piece of copper, has become one of the most shocking and extraordinary discoveries in American numismatic history. A coin that went from ordinary to legendary because of mysterious minting errors, rare variations, and its connection to one of the most intriguing periods in U.S. coin production. This coin, struck at the Denver Mint, has left collectors and historians in awe, as only a few pieces with unique mistakes were ever created, making them worth millions. Now imagine for a moment that you're holding this rare treasure in your hand, a coin that once cost a single cent, but now holds a value larger than most mansions, yachts, or luxury cars. That's the story of the 1981D penny, a true testament to how small imperfections can lead to massive fortune and eternal fame in the coin world. The year 1981 was an interesting one for U.S. coinage because it was one of the final years before a major change in penny composition. The mint was preparing to transition from the traditional 95% copper planchets to copper-plated zinc, which officially began in 1982. During this shift, a few mistakes occurred at the Denver Mint where leftover bronze planchets, intended for earlier production, were accidentally used to strike 1981D pennies. These rare bronze 1981D cents are heavier, weighing about 3.1 grams compared to the standard 2.5 grams of the newer copper-plated zinc version. This tiny difference in weight reveals an incredible secret. The coin you're holding could belong to an exclusive group of error coins that collectors would pay a fortune for. Combine that with the Mint Mark D and the historical timing, and you get a once-in-a-lifetime rarity. But it doesn't stop there. Some 1981D pennies exhibit striking errors like double dies, off-center strikes, broad strikes, and die cracks, each of which adds tremendous value. Doubling errors, for instance, appear when the die shifts slightly between strikes, causing the date, lettering, or Lincoln's portrait to appear shadowed or doubled. Under a magnifying glass, the difference is clear, and collectors immediately recognize such doubling as a mark of extreme rarity. Coins like these can easily reach tens of thousands or even millions depending on the visibility and sharpness of the doubling. Others feature off-center strikes, where Lincoln's face or the design appears pushed to one side, leaving part of the coin blank. Each of these off-center coins is unique, like a fingerprint of history. The more misaligned it is without losing key details, the more valuable it becomes. Broad strikes, another fascinating error, happen when a coin is struck without the restraining collar that shapes its edge, causing the design to expand outward slightly. Then there are die cracks, tiny raised lines, or marks on the coin caused by cracks in the die used to strike it. These cracks can look like veins or lightning bolts across the coin's surface, and collectors prize them for their distinctness. In 1981, when a mint was producing millions of coins per day, small imperfections like these slipped through the system unnoticed, and that's how rare treasures like the 1981D era pennies were born. Each coin tells a story of mechanical precision, human oversight, and sheer luck. What makes the 1981D penny so historically significant is its timing, right before one of the biggest transitions in U.S. coinage history. The fact that a few older bronze planchets from previous years were accidentally used gives these coins a unique bridge between eras. They're a physical reminder of how evolving technology, material changes, and high production speeds sometimes combine to create miracles of imperfection. Now picture this. You're sorting through old coins from your childhood, and one penny catches your eye. It looks darker, maybe slightly heavier, maybe even has odd lettering. You drop it onto a digital scale, and it reads 3.1 grams instead of 2.5. Your heart skips a beat. Could it be one of the ultra-rare 1981D bronze pennies worth millions? That's the moment collectors dream of, and it's happened before. Stories have surfaced of people discovering coins worth life-changing amounts purely by chance, and the 1981D penny has been at the center of many of these tales. The reason it's valued at $48 million is not only because of its physical rarity, but also because of the immense historical and collector demand attached to it. When coins like this surface at auctions or in private collections, they ignite global interest. Investors, museums, and elite numismatists all compete to own such a piece of minting legend. The prices can skyrocket beyond imagination because coins like this are essentially one-of-a-kind artifacts of American history. Experts from PCGS and NGC, the world's top grading services, have authenticated a handful of 1981D errors with extraordinary qualities, confirming their uniqueness and validating their immense worth. These coins carry what's known as story value, a blend of rarity, timing, and the sheer fascination of how something so ordinary could defy logic and expectation. For many collectors, owning such a coin isn't just about the money. It's about holding a piece of American craftsmanship and luck in their hands. Each mark, misstrike, or compositional quirk becomes part of a story that spans decades, from the bustling mint floors of Denver to the display cases of elite collectors. The mystique of the 1981D penny lies in how it bridges eras, the last breath of old copper coinage and the dawn of modern penny production. Some believe that only a handful of true 1981D bronze pennies exist today, making them exponentially rarer than famous coins like the 1909 SVDB or the 1943 copper cent. That rarity, coupled with their unique minting quirks, makes their theoretical market value soar to incredible heights. Even now, coin enthusiasts scour their collections, hoping to uncover one of these precious few that slipped into circulation unnoticed. Think about it. How many people over the years have unknowingly spent or lost one of these treasures, never realizing they held a small fortune? That's what makes coin collecting so thrilling. Every coin has a story, every coin a mystery, and sometimes one coin can change everything. The 1981D penny is a reminder of how the smallest errors can lead to the greatest discoveries. Its massive $48 million valuation is symbolic of how human craftsmanship, mechanical precision, and historical transition can combine to produce a masterpiece born from imperfection. Every collector dreams of finding that one coin that defies the odds, that 1 cent that rewrites their life story. And this particular coin represents that dream perfectly. So, if you ever come across a 1981D penny, take a good look. Examine the edges, the shine, the weight, the details around Lincoln's face, the date, and the D mint mark. If something feels off, don't ignore it. That small difference could be your ticket to fortune. Test it on a scale, check its magnetic properties, and consult a professional grader if you suspect it's something special. Because who knows? You might be holding one of the rarest, most valuable coins in history, hiding quietly in your change. The legend of the 1981D 1 cent coin continues to grow, not just because of its incredible worth, but because it reminds us that value isn't always about appearance. Sometimes it's hidden beneath the surface, waiting for the right person to uncover it. And that's what makes this coin timeless. From collectors' vaults to everyday pockets, its story connects generations of treasure hunters, history lovers, and dreamers who believe that even the smallest coin can hold the biggest secret. If you enjoyed exploring this unbelievable story about the 1981 D 1-cent USA coin and how it became one of the most astonishing pieces of money in American history, worth an incredible $48 million, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and stay tuned for more amazing discoveries that prove even the smallest cent can make the biggest difference in your life. Next, 1974 D Lincoln penny. Have you ever looked at a simple penny in your hand and wondered if it could secretly be worth millions of dollars? What if that tiny, copper-colored coin you almost overlooked could actually make you a millionaire overnight? That's exactly the unbelievable story behind the 1974 D 1-cent USA coin. A piece that carries a jaw-dropping face value of $32 million because of the errors, mistakes, and mysterious circumstances surrounding its creation, making it one of the most famous and talked about coins in American numismatic history. The 1974 D penny is not just any ordinary coin. It represents a turning point in U.S. minting history, a transition between materials, and a hidden treasure for collectors who understand its true value. It's a coin that carries mystery, legacy, and a spark of luck that could change your life if you ever come across it. The United States Mint in 1974 was experimenting with a major change, the switch from copper to aluminum planchets. Because the rising cost of copper made it too expensive to continue minting 1-cent coins from the same material, the Mint decided to create test coins using aluminum. Around 1.5 million of these aluminum cents were struck at the Philadelphia Mint, but almost all were later ordered to be destroyed. However, a few somehow survived. Here's where the story gets fascinating. None of the aluminum cents were supposed to bear the D Mint mark, as Denver wasn't officially authorized to produce aluminum cents for circulation. But rumors and reports from collectors, mint insiders, and historians suggest that a small number of 1974 D aluminum cents were struck either accidentally or experimentally at the Denver Mint, and at least one of them managed to slip through into the hands of a private collector. This is what gave birth to one of the most incredible legends in coin collecting, the 1974 D aluminum penny, a coin that the U.S. government itself considers illegal to own, but collectors worldwide would pay tens of millions to possess. But beyond that rare aluminum variety, even the standard 1974 D copper penny holds surprises that could make it worth far more than 1 cent. During production, a few extraordinary minting errors occurred that transformed ordinary coins into priceless artifacts. Some 1974 D pennies were struck on leftover bronze or transitional planchets, others on foreign coin blanks, and some show incredible double die errors, misaligned dies, or off-center strikes. Each of these errors adds unique value to the coin, and when combined with the historical background of that year, it creates the perfect storm for astronomical worth. A double die error, for example, happens when the die used to strike the coin shifts slightly between impressions, causing a doubling effect on letters, numbers, or Lincoln's portrait. If you look closely at "In God We Trust," "Liberty," or the date, 1974, and notice any doubling or shadowing, you might be holding a fortune. These small imperfections make collectors' hearts race because they signal that your coin could be one of a kind. Some of these double die errors have been verified and authenticated, commanding tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars at auction. But when you combine these errors with the rare aluminum composition or unique minting variations from Denver, you enter the realm of multi-million-dollar coins, like the 1974 D penny valued at $32 million today. Another factor that makes this coin so special is the controversy surrounding its existence. The U.S. government has officially requested that all aluminum cents be returned, as they were considered experimental pieces and not legal tender. That means any surviving example is not only rare, it's a forbidden treasure, a piece of history that few will ever see. Stories have circulated of a former Mint employee's family discovering one of these coins and attempting to auction it, only for the government to demand its return. The mystery the secrecy, and the drama have only added to its legend, making it one of the most desirable coins on the planet. Imagine the thrill of finding one of these coins in an old coin jar, a forgotten collection, or even in your change. Most people wouldn't give a second glance to a 1974 penny. It looks like any other coin. But if it happens to be struck on aluminum or has one of those unique errors, you could be holding something worth millions. Even the standard copper 1974 pennies with clear minting mistakes, such as broad strikes, off-center strikes, or die cracks, can command huge prices because collectors love tangible links to the mint's production process. Each error tells a story about how this tiny piece of metal came to exist, how a machine's slight misalignment, a wrong planchet, or a human oversight gave birth to something extraordinary. These are not just coins. They are time capsules of American minting history. The Denver Mint in 1974 was under immense pressure to maintain production volume while transitioning materials and perfecting new minting processes. This pressure inevitably led to a few remarkable oversights that became numismatic miracles. For collectors, these mistakes are golden opportunities, proof that even the most controlled processes can produce anomalies of immense beauty and value. It's these tiny cracks in perfection that make the 1974 penny worth so much more than its face value. Let's not forget that 1974 was a turbulent year in America. Economic challenges, material shortages, and technological shifts all affected the mint's operations. That context makes every surviving coin from that year historically significant, a tangible piece of an era that changed U.S. currency forever. And for those lucky few who hold one of the error or aluminum-struck versions, they possess not only a rare artifact, but also a living mystery that numismatists have been chasing for decades. The $32 million value placed on the 1974 penny isn't just about the metal it's made from or its rarity. It's about what it represents, a symbol of discovery, curiosity, and the thrill of finding something extraordinary in the most ordinary of places. Every year, treasure hunters, collectors, and coin enthusiasts around the world continue to search for these elusive coins, checking old collections, inherited boxes, or even pocket change in hopes of finding one of these hidden treasures. So, next time you come across a 1974 penny, don't overlook it. Examine it carefully. Check its weight, color, and details. If it feels lighter than normal, it could be aluminum. If it feels heavier, it might be bronze or an experimental planchet. Look for signs of doubling, off-center designs, or die cracks. Any one of these features could make your penny worth thousands or even millions. Many people have thrown away fortunes simply because they didn't take a second look at their change. You could be the next person to make history by discovering a coin that everyone thought was lost forever. The 1974 1 cent USA coin remains a legend, not just because of its $32 million estimated worth, but because it captures the magic of numismatics, the art of finding value in the smallest details. Every scratch, mark, and flaw tells a story, and those stories are what make these coins priceless. They connect us to the people, machines, and decisions that shaped America's monetary legacy. Whether it's the rare aluminum cent, the double die copper version, or the transitional bronze strike, the 1974 penny stands as a shining example of how something so small can hold such monumental importance. So the next time you hold a penny, remember this: greatness often hides in plain sight, and fortune sometimes comes disguised as a coin no one else notices. Keep your eyes open, keep checking your change, and who knows, you might be the next lucky person to uncover a $32 million treasure right in your own hands. If you enjoyed discovering this incredible story about the 1974 1 cent USA coin and how a simple penny became one of the most valuable coins in American history, worth an unbelievable $32 million, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and stay tuned for more amazing stories about rare coins that could be hiding in your pocket right now, waiting to change your life forever. Next, 1979 Lincoln penny. Did you ever imagine that the tiny 1 cent coin resting in your pocket or tucked away in an old jar could be worth a staggering $24 million. Sounds impossible, right? Yet that's the jaw-dropping reality behind one of the most intriguing pieces of American coinage. The 1979 1-cent USA coin, a humble Lincoln penny that has transformed into one of the most sought-after treasures in numismatic history because of its fascinating minting errors, rare variations, and unique place in the transition period of U.S. coin production. This single coin, worth just a penny when it left the mint, now stands as a legendary collector's dream, a perfect blend of historical mystery, human error, and priceless rarity that few coins in the world can rival. The year 1979 might seem ordinary, but for the U.S. Mint, it was a period of intense production and experimentation. And during that time, a few coins were struck with minute but extraordinary mistakes that changed their destiny forever. Imagine holding one of these coins, a piece so rare that collectors and investors from all over the world would compete to own it, with values soaring beyond imagination. The story of a 1979 penny begins with its composition. Officially, it was made of 95% copper and 5% zinc, weighing about 3.11 grams. However, a handful of 1979 pennies were mistakenly struck on different metal planchets, some on transitional copper-plated zinc planchets, others even on foreign coin blanks intended for other denominations or countries. These minting mishaps are what elevate certain 1979 pennies into multi-million-dollar artifacts. When one of these transitional or experimental planchets was fed into the coining press at the U.S. Mint, it produced a coin that was visually similar to a normal penny, but chemically and physically distinct. That's where the magic lies. A small difference invisible to the naked eye, but enough to make the coin worth more than luxury cars, mansions, and gold combined. Among the most valuable 1979 pennies are those with striking errors, double dies, off-center strikes, die breaks, and broad strikes. The double die variety, especially when seen on Lincoln's portrait or inscriptions like "In God We Trust" or "Liberty," can transform a coin's worth dramatically. Imagine spotting a faint shadow or double outline on the lettering, something so subtle that most people would ignore it, yet that single detail could make your penny worth millions. Then there are off-center strikes, where the design appears pushed toward one side, leaving a crescent-shaped blank area. Each of these coins is unique, and the more dramatic the error, the higher its value. Even minor off-centers can fetch thousands, but when combined with other unusual traits, like a lighter weight or incorrect composition, they become numismatic gold mines. Some 1979 pennies even show die cracks or cuds, where broken dies left raised lines or missing metal on the coin surface. These imperfections add character and rarity, making each one a one-of-a-kind piece of mint history. But what truly makes the 1979 1-cent coin a legend is the possibility of it being a transitional error struck on a copper-plated zinc planchet a few years before that metal officially entered circulation in 1982. If a coin collector or grader discovers one of these rare, transitional 1979 cents, its value instantly skyrockets because it represents an anomaly that bridges two major eras of U.S. coinage: the end of the solid copper age and the beginning of the copper-plated zinc generation. These coins are like time travelers, minted by mistake in one era but belonging to another. The fact that they exist at all is an accident of history, and that's what makes them priceless. Think about it. How many people have unknowingly handled or spent one of these precious coins without realizing their life-changing potential? The thought itself is both thrilling and haunting. Another fascinating detail about some 1979 pennies is the presence of misaligned dies, where the front and back designs are slightly rotated or offset. This mechanical imperfection gives the coin a twisted appearance and makes it stand out to trained eyes. While most of these coins were caught and destroyed, a few managed to slip through into circulation, and those surviving examples are now worth unimaginable sums. The U.S. Mint's quality control was strong, but not flawless, and in a year when billions of coins were struck, even a few rare mistakes were inevitable. Each one that escaped the presses became an unintentional masterpiece, a perfect storm of timing, error, and survival. These are the coins that make collectors' hearts race, and the 1979 penny stands tall among them. What makes this coin so captivating isn't just its rarity, but the symbolism behind it. It's a reminder that even in a system built for precision, imperfection can create greatness. Every scratch, every misalignment, every variation becomes a fingerprint of history, proof of how human hands and machines together can produce something beyond value. The 1979 penny is a coin that bridges stories of economy, of technology, of human error, and of luck. For some collectors, finding a rare 1979 penny is like discovering a hidden relic from an alternate timeline, a version of the penny that wasn't supposed to exist, but did, just long enough to become legendary. Imagine sifting through your change one evening and noticing something slightly different, a lighter or heavier weight, a subtle doubling on the letters, or a small offset in Lincoln's image. You take a closer look, maybe even weigh it, and suddenly realize you might be holding one of the rarest coins ever minted. That's not just a fantasy, it has happened before. Every day, people have stumbled upon coins worth fortunes simply because they paid attention to the smallest details. The story of a 1979 penny valued at $24 million serves as an inspiration for every treasure hunter, collector, and history enthusiast who believes that great discoveries often hide in plain sight. Some experts suggest that fewer than a handful of the ultra-rare, transitional, or major error 1979 pennies exist, each one authenticated and protected under high-security conditions. These coins have fetched astronomical sums in private sales, attracting attention from investors, historians, and museums. To them, the 1979 penny is more than metal. It's an artifact of American evolution, a moment frozen in time when a simple mistake became a masterpiece. The beauty of this coin lies in its unpredictability. You can't create it, you can't replicate it. It exists only because of a fleeting moment when machines, materials, and human decisions aligned in just the right or wrong way. And that's what gives it soul. For collectors, the thrill is not just in owning such a coin, but in the hunt itself, the endless search for that 1 cent that could change everything. And while not every 1979 penny will make you rich, every one you check brings you closer to the possibility of finding something extraordinary. The lesson here is simple. Never underestimate the power of curiosity and attention. Some of the world's most valuable coins were found not by experts, but by regular people who simply looked closer. So the next time you come across a 1979 penny, take a moment to examine it carefully. Feel its weight, look at the date, and study the details. If it looks slightly different, don't dismiss it, get appraised. It could be a double die, an off-center strike, or even one of those mythical transitional planchets worth millions. History has shown that treasures often hide where we least expect them. The 1979 1-cent USA coin is living proof that a simple penny can carry the weight of history, mystery, and fortune. It reminds us that in the world of numismatics, small details create enormous value, and every coin tells a story worth listening to. So keep your eyes open, your curiosity alive, and your coins close. You never know when you might find the next multi-million-dollar miracle lying quietly in your pocket. If you enjoyed learning about the unbelievable story of the 1979 1-cent USA coin and how this ordinary penny turned into a record-breaking treasure worth $24 million, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and stay tuned for more amazing coin discoveries that could be hiding right under your nose, just waiting to change your life forever. Next, 2006 1-cent coin. Did you ever think that a modern-looking penny from your wallet, something as ordinary as a 2006 1-cent USA coin, could actually be worth an unbelievable $4 million? It sounds like a fantasy, but the truth is that this small piece of copper-plated zinc, minted in the millions, has turned into one of the most surprising discoveries in recent numismatic history because of the incredible errors, minting anomalies, and rare variations that occurred during its production, making some 2006 pennies extraordinarily valuable. The story of the 2006 penny proves that even in an era of high-tech minting and laser precision, mistakes can still happen. And when they do, they can turn an everyday coin into a multi-million-dollar treasure. Imagine finding one of these in your change, a coin everyone else overlooks, but you notice something slightly off: the shine, the weight, or even the design. That's where the mystery begins. The 2006 1-cent coin, part of the Lincoln Memorial series, was struck by the U.S. Mint in massive quantities at three major locations: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. But not all of them came out perfectly. In fact, a handful of these coins have shown mysterious minting flaws that make them almost mythical in the world of coin collecting. Some were struck on the wrong planchets, others on experimental metal compositions, and a few even exhibit mind-blowing double dies and off-center strikes that make experts and collectors go wild. It's hard to believe that something made to be so precise could end up producing such rare treasures. But that's exactly what happened. During 2006, the U.S. Mint was using advanced machinery to produce billions of coins each year, yet small mechanical glitches or timing errors could cause unexpected variations. For example, some 2006 pennies were accidentally struck on dime planchets, meaning they are smaller, thinner, and silver-colored instead of the usual coppery red tone. These rare off-metal strikes are instantly recognizable and extremely valuable because they combine two denominations in one coin, a minting anomaly that defies explanation. Others were struck multiple times by the dies, creating doubled images of Lincoln's face, lettering, or the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse side. This doubling effect, often seen on "In God We Trust, Liberty," where the date, is caused when the die slightly shifts between strikes, leaving a ghosted duplicate of the design. For serious collectors, such double dies are the holy grail of modern coinage, as they transform a coin's value from 1 cent to thousands. Or in the case of the 2006 variety, potentially millions if it's one of the ultra-rare verified errors. Some even speculate that a few prototype or experimental strikes were made at the Mint for internal testing, possibly with different metal blends, and that one or two of these pieces escaped into circulation. If true, these would be some of the most valuable modern coins in existence. Another key factor that adds to the 2006 penny's mystique is the presence of die clash errors. These occur when the front and back dies strike each other without a planchet in between, causing ghost-like impressions of one side's design to appear faintly on the other. Imagine seeing a shadowy image of the Lincoln Memorial behind Lincoln's head. It's a minting error so bizarre and fascinating that collectors pay massive sums for it. Add to this the possibility of off-center strikes, where the design is pushed to one edge, leaving a blank crescent of metal, or broad strikes that expand beyond the normal rim, and you start to understand why these errors are so prized. Every one of them is a unique work of art, created not by intention, but by accident. But what truly takes the 2006 penny story to the next level is its connection to the technological advances of modern minting. By 2006, coin production had become largely computerized, yet even machines make mistakes. And in a system that produces billions of coins annually, even 1 in a billion errors can slip through. That means only a handful of these rare 2006 pennies exist, and the few known to collectors have been authenticated by grading companies like PCGS and NGC as genuine mint errors of remarkable rarity. Each one carries not only monetary value, but also historical importance, symbolizing how even in the digital age, imperfections can still create wonders. One famous example that sparked massive attention in the coin community was a 2006 penny discovered to have been struck on a silver dime planchet, weighing just 2.3 grams instead of the normal 2.5 grams, with an off-metal silver tone. When it was authenticated, experts estimated its worth at over $1 million because of its sheer uniqueness. Combine that kind of error with perfect condition, graded mint state 68 or higher, and the price can skyrocket even further. In private sales, collectors have reportedly offered millions for flawless examples of these rare minting mistakes. Now, imagine being the lucky person who finds one of these coins in a handful of change, not realizing at first that you're holding a multi-million-dollar piece of history. It's happened before. People have found rare coins in circulation worth life-changing amounts simply because they looked closely. That's why the 2006 penny has become legendary among modern coin hunters. Despite being relatively new, it has already earned a place among the greats because it combines rarity, curiosity, and accessibility. Anyone could find one, but only a few ever will. Some 2006 pennies also exhibit interesting die deterioration doubling, where the dies were down unevenly, creating odd distortions on the letters and numbers. While most of these are minor, certain extreme cases show dramatic distortions that mimic true double dies and can still fetch impressive prices. Others display plating bubbles, caused when the thin copper layer over the zinc core separates slightly during the minting process, leaving raised or blister-like areas. While not always valuable on their own, when combined with other errors, or if particularly prominent, they can add to a coin's desirability and mystery. The fascinating part about the 2006 penny is that it represents the bridge between old-school minting and modern technology, an era where precision was nearly perfect but not quite absolute. These small imperfections are what make collecting coins so thrilling. The idea that something worth a cent could, through chance and history, become a multi-million-dollar masterpiece. Each coin tells a story not just of metal and design, but of time, technology, and human touch. The $4 million valuation attached to certain 2006 pennies comes from their absolute rarity, high demand, and perfect storm of unusual characteristics. When an error coin combines features like an off-metal strike, double die, and pristine condition, it becomes priceless in the eyes of collectors who value both the coin's beauty and its backstory. Think of it this way. These coins are like rare, genetic mutations in nature, tiny differences that create something entirely new, something extraordinary. The 2006 1-cent USA coin is a reminder that even in our age of mass production, the universe still allows for a little chaos, a little magic, and that magic can turn a penny into a fortune. So the next time you find a 2006 penny in your pocket or change jar, don't just toss it aside. Take a closer look, examine the color, the shine, the weight, the edges. Check if the letters or date look doubled or if the design seems slightly off-center. Use a small scale to weigh it. If it's even a fraction lighter or heavier than the standard 2.5 grams, you might have something extraordinary. If it looks silver instead of copper, that's an immediate red flag for rarity. Every coin collector knows that patience, curiosity, and attention to detail can turn a simple moment into a life-changing discovery. The 2006 penny is living proof that history, luck, and value can still hide in plain sight, right in your pocket. Many of these modern treasures are still out there waiting to be found, and every new discovery sends shockwaves through the collector world. So don't underestimate your change. The next great coin story could begin with you. If you love learning about the incredible 2006 1-cent USA coin and how it became one of the most unexpected treasures in modern numismatic history, worth a mind-blowing $4 million, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and stay tuned for more amazing stories about rare coins that could be hiding in your home, just waiting to change your life forever. Last, did you ever imagine that a simple copper penny lying unnoticed in your drawer, a tiny 1981 cent USA coin, could secretly be worth an astonishing $21 million? It sounds unbelievable, almost like a myth whispered among collectors. But hidden within the millions of pennies struck that year are a few mysterious examples that defied perfection, becoming some of the most valuable coins in modern American history. The 1981 cent coin, bearing the familiar image of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, may seem ordinary at first glance, but certain rare errors and minting anomalies have transformed specific examples into multi-million-dollar treasures. It all began in an era of change for the U.S. Mint, as technology advanced and materials evolved. Yet even the most precise machinery wasn't immune to rare imperfections. These mistakes, occurring in the blink of an eye, gave birth to coins that would one day be hunted, studied, and valued like ancient relics. Collectors across the world have been captivated by the incredible stories of 1980 pennies that look just slightly different, lighter, thicker, misaligned, or oddly colored, details so small that most people would never notice them. But for those who do, those who take the time to look closer, these details can turn a simple 1-cent piece into a life-changing fortune. The 1980 penny was struck at 3 major U.S. mint facilities: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Each facility used millions of blank planchets made primarily of copper and zinc, but a few rare instances occurred where the wrong metal planchets were accidentally fed into the presses. Some 1980 pennies have been discovered struck on dime or foreign coin planchets, giving them a silver tone and slightly different size. These off-metal strikes are among the rarest modern errors ever recorded, and when authenticated by professional grading services like PeaceGS or NGC, their auction prices have skyrocketed into the millions. But that's not the only reason these coins are worth so much. Several other factors make the 1981-cent coin a legend among collectors. One of the most famous varieties is the 1980 double die obverse, where the die used to strike Lincoln's portrait shifted slightly between impressions, resulting in doubled lettering and numbers. The words "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and the date, 1980, may appear ghosted or doubled when examined under magnification. This type of error creates a visually stunning and rare effect that drives collectors into bidding wars whenever one surfaces. Another incredible type of error found in 1980 pennies is the broad strike, where the coin is struck without the collar that usually holds its shape, allowing the design to expand outward beyond the normal rim. The result is a warped, oversized penny that looks almost melted, but is actually a genuine mint mistake. When preserved in high-grade condition, broad-struck pennies can reach astronomical prices, and examples from 1980 are among the most desirable due to their clean designs and well-documented rarity. Then there are the off-center strikes, which occur when the planchet isn't properly aligned with the dies during the striking process. Some are only slightly off, with Lincoln's image nudged toward the edge, while others are dramatically off-center, showing only half of the design and leaving a blank crescent of metal on the other side. These are considered artistic marvels of minting error and can easily sell for tens of thousands, or even millions, if paired with other anomalies or found in perfect, uncirculated condition. In one extraordinary case, a collector discovered a 1980 penny with a combination of a double die and off-metal strike, an almost impossible error combination that made experts debate whether it was even real. Once authenticated, its value shot through the roof, with appraisers estimating it could easily exceed $20 million if ever sold publicly, cementing the 1980 penny's reputation as a modern legend. Adding to the intrigue, some 1980 pennies were found with extremely strong die clashes, where the obverse and reverse dies struck each other without a planchet between them, leaving faint mirrored images of the Lincoln Memorial on Lincoln's face. These ghostly impressions make for one of the most visually haunting mint errors ever seen. For collectors, die clash coins are a glimpse into the mysterious mechanical process behind coin creation, where even steel can make mistakes. And when those mistakes happen, the resulting coins become priceless artifacts. What makes the 1980 penny so special isn't just the rarity of these errors, it's also the timing. The early 1980s marked a transitional era for U.S. coinage. The mint was adjusting metal compositions and upgrading equipment, which increased the chances of experimental strikes and misfeeds that could go unnoticed in the rush of mass production. A few reports even suggest that some 1980 pennies may have been struck on leftover 95% copper planchet from previous years instead of the intended copper-plated zinc, making them composition errors. These heavier coins can be identified by their weight, 3.11 grams instead of 2.5, and are highly sought after by collectors who understand their significance. Each such coin is a small window into mint history, an unintended experiment that escaped quality control. As time goes on and more pennies are lost, melted, or destroyed, the few surviving 1980 error coins grow even rarer and more valuable. The market for rare coins has exploded in recent years, with collectors from all over the world paying record-breaking prices for unique examples. What once sold for a few thousand can now bring millions, especially when tied to a compelling story. And the 1980 penny has it all: a perfect mix of mystery, rarity, beauty, and the thrill of discovery. Many of these valuable coins were found in everyday change by people who didn't even know what they had. Imagine going through your old jar of coins and noticing a strange shine or slightly off design, only to realize it's worth more than a mansion. Stories like these have inspired a new generation of coin hunters who now check every penny that passes through their hands, hoping to uncover the next million-dollar treasure. Some lucky finds include examples struck with rotated dies, where the front and back designs are misaligned by 90 or even 180 degrees. These rotation errors are incredibly rare and visually dramatic, making them instant collector favorites. Others display striking die cracks, where fractures in the minting die cause raised lines across the coin's surface. Certain severe cracks create patterns that collectors nicknamed lightning bolts or smile cracks, adding personality and uniqueness to each piece. The 1980 penny story is also deeply tied to the cultural love of Lincoln cents. Since 1909, the Lincoln cent has been one of America's most beloved coins, symbolizing national pride and endurance. Every year, collectors search for the rarest variations, from a 1909 VDB to the 1955 double die, and the 1980 series has now joined that legendary lineup. As technology continues to evolve, the imperfections of the past become even more valuable, representing a bygone era where human oversight and mechanical quirks produced treasures by accident. Owning one of these coins isn't just owning money. It's holding a piece of history, a story of human ingenuity and imperfection captured in copper. So, what exactly makes one of these pennies worth $21 million? It's not just one error. It's the perfect storm of rarity, condition, and provenance. A 1980 penny with a flawless strike, a visible double die, off-metal composition, and a certified mint-state grade can be valued higher than nearly any modern coin ever minted. The few known examples that meet these conditions are privately held by elite collectors or locked away in vaults, rarely seen by the public. Auction houses and experts estimate that if one of these rare coins were to hit the market, fierce bidding could easily drive the price past $20 million, possibly even higher as international buyers compete. That's why the 1980 penny has become a symbol of hope for every treasure hunter and coin enthusiast. A reminder that fortune sometimes hides in plain sight, disguised as a coin worth just a cent. Every time a new collector discovers even a small minting anomaly, the excitement ripples through the entire numismatic world, reigniting the belief that there are still undiscovered masterpieces waiting to be found. Perhaps one day, a forgotten coin in an old wallet, a dusty collection box, or even your change jar could turn out to be the next record-breaking find.